And we're going to get started in just a minute. Chantal, you can start it. Oh, Dave Van Ronk, what's doing? Good morning, everyone. I'm sure you haven't heard that before. Give me a second, folks. I just have to do something. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Canada rate statement, JOLTS, and then we'll stay in the room for CL inventories, crude oil inventories. That's me. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. Remember that everything we discuss is for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. Don't trade money you cannot afford to lose. Does anyone have money they can afford to lose? No. But that's what we have to say. I don't have any money I can afford to lose. I don't want to lose any money. Do you? No. All right. So I decided I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant this morning, which I don't normally do, but let me get started first. So charts to set up this morning. I've got Canada on the left, 6C 1221, and then I've got a gold chart on the right. A couple of things to think about for this first event. There's two events we're looking at. JOLTS, which is pretty much a test event because JOLTS is an event with no setup. That's the problem with JOLTS. I've been trying to test it for the better part of a year. And we've never had a setup that works well. If I lose my voice now, we're in trouble. Hold on, folks. My voice is gone. Hang on. Wow. Okay. I don't know what that was. I better change the coffee I'm drinking or something. All right. Let me know you're out there. I only got a couple of yeses. Let me know you're out there. If you're new, you've never been here before, or you're new over the last couple of days, type in and just say that you're new. All right? Do me a favor. I don't want to look at all the names. Just type in, say hello, and say you're new. I'm not going to pick on you or anything. So I'm looking at 6C. And 6C, the currency futures are going to roll over pretty soon. Test, you're not new. Willie, you're newish. Okay. We're looking at 6C on the left. I'm looking at gold on the right. I was talking about JOLTS. It's a report without a setup. So I would not recommend, probably not recommend trading gold, the JOLTS live. It should be a report that's great, but it's not. And I don't know why. It's a jobs-oriented type report, and you would think that it would have a very good impact. Now, I have an audio problem, so bear with me. I need to be able to record this. You all can hear me okay? I know you're answering me, so I assume you can hear me okay, and I can see that my audio is working. But for some reason, my recorder doesn't recognize my mic. I may have to change my mic. Can you all bear with me? It sounds good, huh? Why the heck won't it record it? Give me 1 second. We have a lot of time, so don't panic. It's a half hour until the event. It was working fine. Then I rebooted. It's not going to record my mic. All right, I'm going to change my mic, folks. I'm sorry. I'm not going to have to do anything. Just sit tight. It'll only take a second. It's too bad. Okay, you should be able to hear me still, and it might even sound better. I'm just curious, does it sound better or does it sound worse? You tell me. Type in and tell me if it sounds better. Sounds the same for Ron? Okay. I'm not sure why my other one won't record. I'll have to mess with it after this room. You know what? It's my recorder. It says it's not recording this either. Weird. Never had this problem before. All right. We'll have to deal with it. I don't care if it records the audio, ultimately. Give me one more second to turn on the recorder, and then I'll talk to you about JOLTS and why it's a setup with no setup. You'd think a jobs report would interest the market, but JOLTS just has there's no interest or no reliable interest. So I've got two different setups. If you want to practice or test, you can. I'll tell you what they are. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I can't record audio, and I don't know why. All right. It's going to stay the way it is. I'm not going to mess with the whole room. Check 1, 2. And I can see the audio being recorded. That's what's so weird. All right, let me put the news up. So JOLTS, like I said, I'm going to trade it with a trap trade. It's the only setup that makes any sense these days, just because the breakout has been totally unreliable. So I don't want to trade it with a breakout. I'll trade it with the trap. I just want to get my news on screen, and then we'll be set. And then the Bank of Canada, that's a breakout trade. Did not work last period. It's not quite a monthly report. Most of the bank reports are 8 times a year, like the bank rate statements. They skip every now and then. They're almost monthly, but not quite. And then we're going to stay in the room for Crude. And we're going to go over our new after the news setup, which if you've practiced the after the news setup, I'm not going to do it today because we need to look at the JOLTS report, but it's certainly a bank statement is the kind of news that lends itself well to an after the news trade. And in this case, you would use the 6C. Now, probably a lot of you don't know how to do it. It's brand new. So don't worry about it. We're going to go over it for weeks. We're going to practice it the whole time from here till the first of the year. And then possibly starting in January, we may very possibly trade it real if the testing looks good. So I'm going to set up JOLTS rather quickly because I don't want to spend much time on it because, like I said, it's a report with no good setup. When I say not a good setup, what I mean is I don't have a reliable setup. I don't have a setup that works month after month after month. Obviously, with some bad ones in between. You're not going to have every report trading well. But we do have a trap trade that we've been testing. So first, let me go over a quick thought on JOLTS and what you could do. All right, so let me write it down so you all can see it. So JOLTS, all right, breakout. So bracket on JOLTS. Bracket on JOLTS would be 7. Targets 5, 9, and 14. But I'll tell you what, because it's performing so poorly, let me make this a little bit smaller. Because it's performing so poorly, I'd probably go for targets of 4 and 10, or if you want to use 3, you could do something like 5, 9, and 14 with a stop of 10 and an entry time of 9:59:59. Okay, that's for the experienced people that know how to put information into our software. That's the JOLTS setup for the breakout trade. And the trap, I know most of you probably are not comfortable with the trap. The trap, it's 10 o'clock trade, and the prep seconds is 10. And then the tiers, which are really just the orders, 12 and 20 with a stop of 15. All right, so that's JOLTS. That's JOLTS. We'll bring it back if you need it, if anyone's interested. I'm setting up the trap trade for it. So JOLTS, a trap trade, price at the time, average. These are defaults. My positions, one position, okay? Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Stop position must say last fill price. I put my stop in last always. My tiers on the JOLT are 12 and 20. 12 and 20 are the tiers. Those are the orders. Entry time is 10 o'clock, but the prep time is very important, 10 seconds. That's when my orders are actually going to show up on the chart, okay? 10 seconds before the news. And like I said, this is not a reliable trade. I'm going to just test it with full-size gold. I don't really think it's advisable for people to waste their money on a report, especially we're now entering holiday trading. Next week is real holiday trading. I would say we're in pre-holiday trading, okay? And the stop is 15. It's a big stop, okay? When you're using full-size gold, you could lose $400 on a trade like this. And it's not worth putting the money. That's being honest. I'm just saving a template for the JOLTS trade. So that's my setup. I've got tiers of 12 and 20. Entry time is important. That's when the trade takes place, 10 o'clock. But 10 seconds before 10 o'clock, my orders will actually show up on the chart. The stop is 15. I have one position for each order. All right, and that's a trap trade. And I'm not really going to pay that much attention to it. All right, because it's not as important as Canada. So Canada, I think, even though Canada didn't work well last month, and it is a marginal family money trade. We have to be honest. It's not the best family money trade under the sun. It's definitely not, okay? So it's up to you. You don't have to trade it if you don't want to. It's definitely not one of the, I'm telling you honestly, it's not one of our top tier reports, but because it's a bank statement, it has very strong potential to have a good solid move. And it has had good solid moves in the past. Last month, it whipsawed. It was actually in very end of October. It's nobody's fault that it occurred as a whipsaw, that it took place. It happens. The bracket is 8. I'm going to use 3 positions, but I'm going to protect myself and not lose as much if it doesn't work. Because look, like I said, I went through all the videos that I have. It's unquestionably not my strongest family money trade. I'm using 3 positions. I'm going to do orders of 5, 9, and 16. Profits of 5, 9, and 16. Now, a couple of things that are important. My stop is going to be 15. A couple of things that are important. Keep in mind, number one, that Canada is $5 a tick. That doesn't mean you still can't lose money. Just because something is low on ticks, you can still have problems, on a trade that doesn't work well. The entry time is 10 o'clock, right on the dot. And keep in mind, important, cancellation, 40 seconds. Wait 40 seconds. The trade type is a breakout trade. If you're trading it, there are some delayed entry times on this trade, okay? Sometimes it takes a while to respond. So 40-second cancel, if you can bear it. Okay. That to me is important. So let's go over the setup one more time. Bracket of 8. Nothing else has to be adjusted up top. Position is 1, 1, and 1 for me. I'm using 3 positions. If you just want to use 2, use targets of like 6 and 12. Okay, that would be reasonable. 6 and 13, 5 and 11, something like that if you only do 2 contracts. I'm looking for 5, 9, and 16. My stop is 15. It might work, it might not, I don't know. I hope it works, obviously. It's a breakout trade. Entry time is 10 o'clock, and the stop is 15. The stop truly can be anywhere between 15 and 20. And I am trading it in my family money account. Okay, now keep in mind, currency futures, they're getting ready to roll over. They're going to roll over in about 3 or 4 or 5 days, it looked like. Because I was checking and the volume is building on March of 22. It's hard to believe we're talking about March of 22 contracts. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let me show you a really good. First, let me show you a problem. What happened last month. Not to scare you, but it's important to see what happened. It was almost a month and a half ago. It had a phenomenal move, but the problem was it whipped. So it went up and down instead of moving in one direction only. And that happens. There's nothing you can do. So it's going to explode up, but I don't even think you can physically see the whipsaw. It was so fast. Yeah, you couldn't even see it. You can see it in the candle. So you can see it in the candle. Let me see if I can show you. When you look at it after everything happened, it's hard. See how the candle has a big wick to the downside? That was the failure. of the trade. It went down before it burst up. And then a good looking one looks like this. Here's a good one. That's a good one. It generally moves in one direction nicely, okay? So that's what you want to see out of this type of a trade. Let's check our time sync. Then I got to make a couple of quick announcements. Number one, don't forget Friday. No, you know what? Let's check our time sync. I check my sync by going to the website time.is. Not complicated. Time.is. Okay? That puts my computer in sync. If it doesn't put your computer in sync, in the trade room, in the file folder at the top on the trade room taskbar, says room drive. There's a file called d4time.exe. That file, that little program, will sync your computer. It's called Dimension 4. When you install Dimension 4, it comes up like this. All you need to do is click the Sync Now button like 5 times, and just make sure the synchronized line changes. That means your computer is being synced to the server that's chosen by the location. And that will put your computer in sync. And then you can check it by just going back to time.is. Double check your sync. 99 times out of 100, Dimension 4 will sync a computer that will not sync by itself when it first goes to time.is. 99 times out of 100, Dimension 4 will work. Okay? You can try syncing with the standard Windows method, but it's full of bugs. So that's why we don't use the Windows method. Full of bugs. Okay? A couple of announcements. Don't forget, free, folks, free. There's no catch. Free WASD masterclass, right? We're going to go into a deep dive on WASD, how to trade it, any tricks about it. I'm going to try and teach everything I know about the WASD. Friday at noon for just $500, free. I'm kidding. It's totally free. No charge, no catch. You don't have to do anything. Just show up. Here's the link. Friday at noon. Friday at noon Eastern time. Okay. No catch. No joke. No catch. One of our 12 days of the holidays, 12 days of Christmas gifts, along with 12 days free in the trade room also. Okay. We thought we'd do something fun. It's fun. It's the holidays. Free WASD class. And the link, www.fmt2021.com. Okay. 12 noon Friday. No catch. Now, you know what's interesting? What's very interesting is people have been telling me that they have no logo when they are enabling their trade. So today, I don't have a logo. So, wouldn't it be funny? No, it wouldn't be funny. Let's see what happens. I suppose it's possible that my trade might not trigger because I don't have a logo, but I don't think that's the case. Mark says he hasn't had a logo for a month, so I will try and take care of that. I believe something has happened on the server. All the logo is a picture on a server, and the software calls the picture, and something must have happened to the picture on the server. So I've got to talk to the programmer. We got to get it fixed. You don't have it either, Tess? Okay. So if more than one person doesn't have a logo, then it's not you. I mean, that's really the way that I look at things. It's not you if it's more than one. If it's just you, then it's just you. But that doesn't mean, it's like I'm having a problem with Ninja, with replay, the playback. But it's not just me. But they won't deal with it. They can't deal with the truth for whatever reason. They claim they can't recreate it, so it's just me, but it's not. It's not just me. A lot of people are having the same exact problem that I'm having. But I can't get them to fix it because they can't recreate it. So I don't know what to do. I'm still fighting, not fighting with them, but it's extremely frustrating. So quick little rant. My neighbor is, don't be this neighbor, right? I'm just saying, don't be this neighbor. So my neighbor renovated his house. I mean, unbelievable renovation of a house because everybody thinks the market is still unbelievably hot, the housing market, and it has cooled off, I believe, because houses are not selling in an hour like they were 6 months ago. But he's got a really nice house for sale, and the next door neighbor, here's my rant. Every bit of trash that you would throw in the garbage, well, their trash is in their yard. Chairs and motorcycle. It's like the house vomited everything that it has inside the house. Every piece of trash is in their yard. How in heaven's name is this poor guy going to sell his house? Somebody comes to look at the house and they go, what's going on next door here? What the heck? Don't be that neighbor. That's my rant. Please don't be that neighbor. All right. If your neighbor's selling their house, clean the yard, move the motorcycle into the back. I don't know what to tell you. Don't be that neighbor. But there's no way he's going to sell that house. The house is unsellable. You might as well just burn it. You'd be better off burning it down. We got 4 minutes. We're waiting for Canada's bank rate statement. Now, I have to fix my sound because my software is not recognizing my sound card. So what that means is I'm not hearing the stream. Mark, what do you mean? I mean, my strategy is enabled, so I'm not worried. Also, it'll show in the log. See, I can see my strategies working if I click the log. Enabling Ninja Script strategy. So I know the strategy is enabled. You can always look in the log. And don't forget, new Ninja Script output, your output should be open and minimized. Output, open and minimized. And see, I can see my strategies working in my output chart. Open and minimized. Oh, yeah. Right. Upper left, Canada rate. That tells you the strategy is working. It shows the setup. It shows you your strategy. It shows you the indicators you have going. Just a whole bunch of data. So that's another way. Canada rate. See, it's strategy. That's what I named it. That tells me my strategy is working. So there's a couple of different areas you can look. The log file, the Ninja Script output file. Now remember, I'm going to wait 40 seconds. I'm going to wait 40 seconds. If it doesn't fill, I think it's going to fill quickly. And then I'm looking at JOLTS on the right with trap trade. Not going to pay attention to it. We can look at it, look at the video after the Canada trade. I had another rant also, minor rant. I'm going to do a lot of ranting through the holidays. It's the holidays. The holidays make you rant. don't they? They make me rant. It doesn't take a lot to make me rant, but it's sort of part of my job. All right, so we got 40 seconds. My office is cold this morning. Not sure why it's so cold. My clock is ticking. I promised I would get a new clock. I have to take care of that. Try and do all of that this week. It's already Wednesday. It's already almost mid-December. Impossible to believe. There's my trap trade. See how it shows up 10 seconds early? I've got orders above, orders below. So Canada, okay, I'm closing my Canada trade with a profit of $115 because it went completely crazy. It reacted so fast that my software could not keep up with it. That's what happened, folks. I'll go over it on the video. I made $115 on Canada in 1 second. I was watching my profit. I knew my direction. So I'll explain why you should never panic if things go wrong. And let me explain after the trap trade. We're watching to see if JOLTS works at all. Okay, Canada, they didn't change the decision, but it might be that Canada is too fast and too crazy and too volatile to make it a family money trade. It just might be too crazy. I realize I made money today, but it was very, in some ways, I probably got lucky. Now, it's unfortunate that I cannot hear the stream this morning. It's a little bit frustrating. So I have to fix my headset. I'm going to change my headset right now. Let's watch that trap trade. So what's happening? The trap trade filled short because it went up. You understand? Trap trade filled short because it went up. Now the idea is we're waiting for gold to reverse. Waiting for gold to reverse. Changing my audio 1 second. You should be able to hear me just fine. And now I can hear the streaming. If the trap trade, if gold keeps going up, the trap trade will be a failure. Okay? I'm going to watch it for a few minutes. Canada clearly is a move down. Gold would not have worked on the trap trade. Remember what I said? You could lose $400 if it didn't work. That's why I didn't trade real live money on this report. And we'll look at the video to see if possibly the breakout would have worked. Now, let me render the video because we need to talk about Canada, which is the reason we are here besides oil. Now, we use, just to give you a heads up what I'm even talking about, I use Financial Juice Pro. We pay to get the news release spoken to us in our headset. Financial Juice Pro has a stream, but it's not free. It's free if you want it delayed. In other words, the news is delayed, the news results over here. They're delayed if you don't pay. It's financialjuice.com. They have a pro version, very reasonably priced. It's an amazing product that helps us with our trading of the news. Now, JOLTS might very well be an after news trade, but that's not, I don't have time to do that on this particular report because we have to get ready for oil. And I want to talk about it for oil. Let's look at the video because Canada went crazy. I made $115, and I want to show you why I didn't panic, even though everything went haywire on the trade. There will be times when there is a move so fast that nobody's software in the world, no matter who wrote it, the President of the United States, Vladimir Putin, I don't care who, their software couldn't have kept up with that market today. Not possible. Just not possible. And you'll see why. when I show you the video. So give me 1 second. Bank of Canada and JOLTS. JOLTS was not a problem in terms of the speed. JOLTS just didn't work as a trap trade because the enemy of a trap trade is a move in one direction. And that's what looks like happened. So here's the video. First thing we'll do is let's understand Canada. So what happened with Canada is the move was so fast, the software couldn't find the stops, the orders. It couldn't find them. There wasn't enough time. The orders weren't ready by the time the price went through the orders. That's what happens. And it will happen occasionally on trades. You'll see it again on a very fast trade. And most of the time, sometimes you won't get filled because it'll be so fast. Sometimes it'll hit your targets and take you out of the trade with a profit. Sometimes it'll whipsaw and you'll lose more than you thought. And other times it'll do what it did today. It'll fill you and you'll keep going in the direction of your fill. And if you don't panic, you'll be able to tell what's going on. So you don't have to close out the trade in a second. So here's one of the rules that we used to have before I was experienced. Okay. Now, first of all, tell me that you all can hear me just fine. I want to make sure I'm not talking into the wind. Am I talking into the wind or you can hear me just fine? And the reason I'm bugging about audio is because I had to change my headset. I couldn't hear the streaming. Can you hear me? Okay, the sound should be a lot better. It should be phenomenal. Anyway, doesn't matter as long as you can hear me. So Canada, like I said, so fast. The orders, the stops, they couldn't be found. That's why the software stopped. But I was still in a trade, so you have to pay attention. So Ninja tells you what you need to know, right? So look, I knew I was short. And I was short one order, okay? I was short. It only filled one order. It was so fast that what appears, I had 3 orders. It only filled one of them. I knew I was short because the platform told me there was no reason to panic and close the trade immediately. When I first got here years ago, the rule was if you had a setup that didn't work or the market was so fast, close the trade instantly. But that doesn't always make sense. If I would have closed the trade instantly, I would have lost money today. Watch what happens. This is the reason not to panic. And sometimes if you don't panic, you could lose $500 also. I'm not panicking because I see I'm short. I see the price. I know the software couldn't find the orders because I got that message. It couldn't find the order. So I don't panic. I see that my entry is there and I see my price going up. I waited for the market to keep going. And fortunately, look at that reversal. I closed with a profit. I had enough time to close with a profit. So if you have the opportunity not to panic, take it. If you're filled and you know you can get your wits about you very quickly and understand what's going on, then you can manage yourself out of the trade without panic. Okay. And that allowed me to make $115. And I'll take it. I don't care if it was all out of control because it was so fast. And look at how fast it was. This is like a double, triple whipsaw. Watch. I mean, it is what sometimes happens in news trading. I've been doing this so long that you can hear from my voice that it didn't even surprise me. I mean, I don't go into a panic. I don't worry. I remember when I first got here in the trade room, it was embarrassing. I was sometimes had no clue what was going on, and people knew. And it took me a while to learn and get up to speed. I had never done this in front of people before. But today, this was like the worst scenario that can happen to a new trade room moderator. Nothing works right. But I saw that I was short and it exploded down. I got out, grabbed the profit before that huge reversal. And then it reversed again and went back down. Now, the trap trade. What's the idea in the trap trade? Market goes up, we sell. Market goes down, we buy. Okay. I want to see, but what happened with the breakout? At 10 o'clock, JOLTS news was known to the market, most probably. I'm looking to see if it shows up. And the price goes down, and it looks like it might have gone down. My bracket would have been a 7. Remember, I gave a bracket of 7 on JOLTS. So the current price was 1782. If it went to 8170, 8130, you would have been filled short. It looks to me like it made it to 8130. So the JOLTS was a stop if you use the breakout. Understand it went down first. So neither trade worked on the JOLTS. The perfect reason I did not trade it live. Okay. It just kept moving up, 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 hit my stop. Then eventually it reverses, but too late for me. Let's talk oil. We got 20 minutes. I want to go over oil. You can ask me questions, folks, after the oil. I'd be happy to stay and answer any questions you want to ask me. Okay. So about these trades, about Canada, or about any of the events, anything. Okay. Let me just get my video set for this next trade. So oil is CL 122. And I think what I will do is trade the 30-second chart on my main chart, because this is my after news chart. And then, but before I set up, I want to set my account up. I'm just zeroing out my sim account, because one of my trades that we do now will be sim, one will be live. Bear with me, I apologize. There we go. I just want everything zeroed out. Okay. So CL 0122, that's the current contract. Oil's got at least another week before it rolls, at least. Now we don't need any orders, nothing. So I have an after news workspace. Okay. I call it the after news workspace. Now we don't have a lot of time to go over full blown setup, but I'll do the best I can. And then we're going to do this every oil, every natural gas storage trade. I'm going to use MCL because I don't yet know what I'm doing, and I can test using MCL without a lot of risk. Okay. And I just have to also make sure that I'm trading it in my non-family money account, because this is not a family money trade. Canada was. Now, if I say that I'm trading it as a family money account, it means I'm trading it in my family money account, if I call it a family money trade, because that way we can track the success rate of all our trades and our regular trades as well. So my regular CL is on the right side. Let's set up the bracket trade, which has not. Why have we been looking for an alternative setup? Because oil hasn't been trading that great. Oil has quite a while, has been quite a while that it has not been trading successfully as a breakout. And we've been through this in the trade room, how the daily report for oil is somewhat deceptive. It's deceptive because you have to do a deep dive into the report, the daily trade report, to notice that quite a few of the trades only hit the first target and then reversed and stopped out. Okay, so that's important to understand. Many trades hit the first target, reverse, and stop out, because oil's been really choppy for months and months and months. There will be times when oil trades super fantastic, and we will trade some of the oil reports live at the exact moment of the report, because oil will go through, it'll change the quality of the way it's trading. and we'll notice it. We will notice it. We'll miss some trades, but we will notice it. So after the news setup, and if you haven't gotten the video and you want the video, make sure you send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Some reason, I don't think we sent out the video to everyone that came to the webinar. Help@10minutetrades.com. I'm happy to send you the video because it teaches the setup. So the setup, first I said I was going to set up our oil setup for today. So we need our daily market report, daily market mover for a lot of you new folks. Here's our crude oil setup. We use our software. 3 elements that make our system: the daily report, the weekly schedule, really 4. Weekly schedule, daily report, trade room, and software. That's, to me, the key to doing this successfully. If you have all those elements, you're giving yourself the best shot of succeeding at news trading, event trading, and then a subset, family money trades, the best of the best reports. Okay, so our setup on crude is a bracket of 10. And you could see on the report how crude's been difficult. Even though last week, I want to look at that video from last week. I don't remember it being that good of a win. Sometimes analysis is not as accurate as live trading. 7, target of 15. We have a target of 7, a target of 15, a bracket of 10. You don't have to fill in all these items. Many of them are default on our software. Don't get overwhelmed if you're new, or if you just bought the software or just subscribed. You only have to change a few things for every trade. The entry time is very important. This is a 10:30 trade. Our entry time is 10:29:58. That has to be put in. 10:29:58. That's our recommended entry. It's a breakout trade. That is the default. And I like to label my trades. You don't have to, but I do, because sometimes I have more than one setup, like today. So again, the setup, a bracket of 10, 1 target for 7 ticks, 1 target for 15. My stop is 10, and my entry time is 10:29:58, and it's a breakout trade. Not complicated, really, not complicated. Activate the report. No logo. I got to talk to the programmer. We know it's working. I made money on Canada. Okay. Any questions about the bracket? Now, the after the news trade, there's rules. All right. I've got 4 EMAs. 4 EMAs. All right. I've got, and my gut feeling is, because I know and work with EMAs, you know, if you have a 20 EMA instead of a 21, this is probably going to work. Okay. This is probably going to work. TJ Oil is a 12. Let me check my stop, make sure I put it in right. Hang on. Let me make sure it's a 12, not a 10. Thank you. Oil is a 12. Now, would the world be over if I used a 10 stop? No. You want to know the truth? If the trade works well, the 10 stop will be fine. It's when trades don't work that the stop becomes important. When you get a good move in one direction, that stop, it could be a 2 and it'll work. But don't make it a 2, because you'll lose a lot more trades by having your stop too small. It's just a point about how a stop can affect you and when it will affect you more often. Stops are more impactful when a trade is having difficulty. Stops are not as important when a trade is working. When a trade works, for us, it bursts and shoots in one direction, ideally. Okay. So 4 EMAs, and oil is extremely volatile right now. The after news trade, you must wait. Let's start from scratch. 30-second chart. 30-second chart. You need the squeeze, okay? And the squeeze needs to have the squeeze momentum set to 17 on a 30-second chart, okay? Squeeze momentum length is 17. I don't care what colors you use on your squeeze. I don't care. But set them up so that they look like mine. They don't have to be green and red, but you want to have different levels of green so you can see a color change, because that's critical to how and why you would take the trade. Okay? The moving averages. Black is 100. You know, if you make it 90, the world's not going to end. Gold is 47. Now, Fred will probably argue with me and say that that one is very important. He's probably, he could be right. 8 is blue. Well, let me make sure on mine. 8 is blue because I can't see white. So let me make sure I have these set properly. Black is 100. Gold should be 47. Red is 21. Okay, gold is 47. Why do I think that one of mine is off? My blue, which is white, should be 8. Okay, make sure it's 8. I don't know how that became 14, but I knew that was off. And then my 100 is black. And let me fix my template. Okay. So one more time, 4 EMAs, exponential moving averages. And I don't care what color you make them. You need a 21, a 47, an 8, and a 100. Fred, if you're here and I do anything wrong, please type it in, because this is still new to me. Okay, your setup is a little bit new to me. Fred taught this last week, did a great job, an awesome job. So everyone understands we have 4 EMAs. We have the 30-second chart. We have the squeeze. Oh, you love the new mic, Fred? It's a wired headset. Here's why it's good. Because I look like a lunatic, right? Wired headset as opposed to this goofy thing. This is what I prefer to wear, because I don't like wearing a wired headset. It's like, man, it's a pain in the neck, right? Okay, that's why it works. But it's a much better mic. It's a much better mic. It's right at my mouth. It's just everything about it's better. So 4 moving averages, you must wait. So 30-second chart, squeeze momentum length 17, 4 moving averages. You have to wait 3 minutes. And what we're looking for is a change in squeeze direction. So if you look at this green going up, make believe it's 3 minutes after the trade. Our entry would be if the moving averages change direction. If you're lucky and they cross over, that's even better. But there's probably not quite enough time to wait for a full crossover as there is for the moving averages. See, they're heading up. They're going to need to turn. And if they turn, then you might have the opportunity to enter. Now, the setup, Fred uses the squeeze setup, and I use, you can use either, but let me explain the setup. So the setup is 1 tick above the range, 1 tick below the range. Graphic shown on chart is checked. 1 tick above the range, 1 tick below the range. Graphic shown on chart is checked. And the other important, is look back One click bar look back is 2. Time doesn't matter. It's a manual entry. And Fred only uses one target. Okay. He just is not looking to get rich. He's looking to get out with like $100 every day in profits, anywhere between 70 and $100 on this trade. He's not greedy and it works for him. But we're going to say 8 ticks is all we're looking for. A stop of 10. And am I missing anything, Fred? I believe I have everything except the trade setup. So I'm going to do it the way Fred does it. If you use the squeeze play by entering and by enabling a squeeze play, I'm going to call this after news. Remember, 3 minutes. So we got time. But when you enable a squeeze play by turning on the trade, you get all these buttons. And it starts to create the range. It's drawing the range. Thanks, Fred. Fred, don't forget that I haven't forgotten about you. Okay? So we don't know yet what direction we're going to go. Ignore the long and short buttons. They have no meaning. They have no meaning. If I click the one-click range entry button, it will work long or short using my ticks above the range. It's going to see how the range shows you the ticks above the range, 1 tick. Do you understand what I mean? In other words, we're creating a range based on the bar look back. The bar look back was set to 2. So we're using 2 bars to create a range. It's not complicated once you understand. The bar look back uses 2 bars to create a range. The ticks above and below creates the order. The top and bottom line is 1 tick below the range, 1 tick above the range. Tess, we're going to have to get your software fixed. Tess. It might mean you're going to have to redo your Windows. Tess. So nothing's going to happen for 3 minutes after the trade. But I'm going to click. I'm going to know what direction. I ignore the end buttons because they're immediate into the market, long or short. You know, there might be a situation that tells you, oh man, I want to go short. I know I want to go short and going in the market, but you still have your stop and your target. 10 tick stop, 7 tick target. Remember? That's the beauty of using the software on a discretionary trade. This is a discretionary trade. Tess, this works. Tess, this works. It makes no sense. Tess, it makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Anyway, the one-click range entry will enter long or short. The one-click range long will only enter long. The one-click range short will only enter short. In this particular trade, I don't know what direction I'm going to enter. So I want both those buttons. But I don't need the buttons on the end. They're there because, you know, you might want to go long or short immediately. But this long or short entry button is going to get pulled into the market if it goes the right direction. I'm not going to get filled if price chops around in the middle, okay, which it's not going to do because this is the Wednesday oil report. We're going to get a big move. We're going to check our time sync. By going to the website time.is, I'm in sync, okay? Because remember, we're going to test our breakout trade on the right. Oil has been struggling on the breakout trade, all right? You look at that daily report, you can see clearly that oil's been struggling. Stop on October 27th, 2 wins after that, 2 stops, And then last month, I don't have time to show the video right now, but I want to look at last week's video. I'm a lunatic. Time doesn't scare me. Okay, last week worked, it looks like. Looks like last week did work. Okay. So we're going to watch the right first. Then we have 3 minutes on the left before we do anything. Excuse me. My voice is killing me today, folks. I don't know why. Omicron. All right. My throat hurts. 10:29, 20 seconds. We're going to get a breakout here. Oil's going to burst one way or the other based on this number. They're expecting a drawdown. Yesterday, the API report had a big build, 5 million more than expected. It was like 3. Let's watch. Hit the first target in SIM. Okay, that would have been a good looking oil trade, but we'll verify that with the video. Verify it with the video. Now we have 3 minutes. I'm waiting for the squeeze. What I would love to see is for price to just push down for a while. And after 3 minutes, 10:33, I'm waiting for a squeeze signal, a change and a printing. And I need my moving averages. They really have to start moving up, most probably, because right now we have a strong downward move in the price of oil. Okay. We have a strong downward move in the price of oil. If I say anything now, Fred's probably trading real money. Excuse me. So I don't want to bother him. Okay. I don't want to bother him. But right now, I'm not interested in entering except long. Right now, things can change with oil pretty rapidly. Now, there's no law that says you have to wait 3 minutes. That's not like a law based on life forever. Before I talked to Fred, I would take this trade live on the first bar that prints. We're going to wait actually for 2 bars. Okay, that's the one rule I didn't mention. We're waiting for 2 bars to print in the lighter color red, coral. You can see it over here. This is dark red. You can see it here. It's hard to see here. It's easier to see here. I'm waiting for a signal. I need 1 more minute. So I'd like oil to push down a little bit longer. And then give me my long, and I'll click the 1-click long. I'll put my orders on. See, I'm almost ready to put my orders on before Fred does. Now, what's interesting is you have a downward cross. The moving averages are not helping you at all right now. They're not. But it's also oil. I would also use a bigger stop than Fred. Percy, I would take this trade now. Fred would not. Fred would not take it now. It's not 3 minutes. Not 3 minutes. I'm going to do the safer method. So then my problem is I don't always know exactly when I should enter because there's already 2 bars. You follow me? Fred, this is what I was asking you the other day. See, I think you don't have an entry because your moving averages are not helping you at all. They're keeping you safe. They're keeping you safe. I would not enter yet. But to my way of thinking, this has to be a long trade because price has pushed down since the report. We need moving averages to start moving up, to turn. We need these bars to stay this color, I would guess. Okay, not guess, I would say. You can see that price has very possibly hit a low point. It would be riskier to enter now. But to my way of thinking, you should wait. You should wait. So I'm assuming you're not in yet, Fred, because the moving averages are not helping you. So I'm listening to Fred because he taught us how to do this. So we want to do it right the first way. Now the moving average is turned over. I would think I should get my orders ready. Now Fred might yell at me. Maybe I'm too soon, but moving averages are turned up. Now he put his orders on a little quicker and might have gotten filled a little quicker than me, which might have been riskier. I didn't get filled yet. Okay. I didn't get filled yet. So because Fred's being honest, he entered earlier than me. I waited a little bit longer because I was just watching the moving averages. I was watching, so I have not been taken out of this trade. This is still a valid setup for me. Now, there are some things which we didn't talk about at the class. And Fred, I'm sorry that the trade didn't work for you. If you get a change in color back to dark red, would you exit your trade if you weren't entered? Would you wait? In other words, take your trade off? Like now, I might get a warning not to enter. I think you all understand what I'm saying. So this was not a perfect setup. It was not a perfect setup. So here's what you could do. You have to really think hard about what direction you want to go. The moving averages are really just barely giving you some help. They're barely giving you some help. The blue is moved, okay? It has changed direction. Black is flat, gold is flat, red is flat. I'm not sure I want in on the long side yet, to be honest. And it's discretionary. You can make that decision. You might want to wait and see if you get a short signal, okay? Hey, Zoso, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to apologize to you. So I'm glad you're here. I think you know why. Last week, I was out of control. So make this my official apology for real. And send me an email. Help at 10minutetrades.com. Help at 10minutetrades.com. I was totally out of control. So I'm going to wait now for a short signal. I mean, the long might have worked because I took my trade off. It went up 7 ticks. Okay. It did. I believe it did work. Now it's a long trade. So let's practice and wait for a short signal. Should it be taken live? Not really, because I missed the long trade because I wasn't really pleased and happy with the moving averages. Now, something very important that I would do probably differently than Fred, I would use an 18 tick stop because I think a 10 tick stop on crude is just too darn small. Too darn small. That's my gut feeling. Okay. Now, you can still get a signal 10 minutes out, but look, you have moving averages shooting up. Okay. Moving averages are shooting up. Now they're starting to change. Would I take it short below the range? That moving average is turned down. No, I shouldn't take this. Why? I don't have a squeeze signal. If I get a squeeze signal that changes color to the different color green, I'll put my short on because it means the momentum is shrinking to the downside. There it is. That's my signal. Now remember, I think waiting for that, putting the long signal on, not taking my long off could have worked. It could have worked. But I think it's somewhat confused today, to be honest. And if I was trading full size,
oil, I would not trade now because it's chopping around and it's a little bit confused. You don't have to take the trade, right? So I'm trading the micro, so I'm not going to go out of business by trading the micro. And, it's not, I don't think we're getting great follow through. I think the price move is over, to be truthful. So this was not a great setup today. It looked like it was going to be, but it really wasn't a great setup. Now the moving averages are down, pointing down. The momentum is heading down. So it's possible we might get a pull down, but oil is just pretty darn choppy this morning. So, you did not have to take the trade. You don't have to. And it looks like it's going to stop me for like a $10, $11. Okay. That's why I tested it on the micro so I could test it and see for real. So I think if you really look back and analyze what I could have done better, I should have just left my trade on. And I think in that burst up, it might have hit my 7 ticks. And right, to Mark, he's saying those moving averages are flat, but that blue is definitely has changed direction to the opposite side, but all the others are pretty flat. So it's questionable whether there was a valid trade, to be honest. That's being honest. All right, we're going to work on this, but the point is we're going to work on this and we're going to hone it and get it together and get it to work. We'll do it again tomorrow on natural gas, which is actually the prime setup for this trade. It's on natural gas that it works the best. So stick around, and we're going to start doing it on some of our gold trades as well as on some of our full news trades. So I want to thank our YouTube folks. Don't forget, on YouTube, you can come into the trade room this week. Just go to 10MT Pro. Just a reminder for everybody that's here, come into the trade room all week. We have a free WASD class Friday. Free WASD class. Here's the registration. No catch, folks. No catch. We're going to do a deep dive on the WASD report, and the WASD trade room is Thursday, so it better be a good trade Thursday. www.fmt2021.com for register for the WASD class, and our WASD trade room is Thursday, right? 11:30. We'll be here trading the WASD live like we always do. Zoso, if you're here, I'll tell you what I wanted to tell you in a second. WASD, Thursday, 11:30. And we'll be back here at 12:30 for the 10-year bond auction. And I have an alternative setup on the bonds today that worked great on the 7-year. And Mark, I'm not arguing at all. I mean, I don't think I took a great entry today. So we'll look to do it better with natural gas tomorrow after the news trade. This is a setup that you're going to see, folks. It's going to be a valuable setup, whether it's slightly different from the way that we are taught it specifically in the class. There's no law that says it has to be exact. I'm not saying that there's anything at all wrong with Fred's setup. His setup is excellent. He does it his way. I'll probably ultimately do it my way. You'll do it your way. Okay? That's trading. Nobody does things exactly the same way. I'll see everybody back here at 12:30. Zoso, I went a little wild about the politics. That's what I wanted to apologize about. Okay? I was out of line. I don't ever talk politics in the room. I don't know what came over me that day. And I haven't seen you in days. I thought you were mad, and I'm glad you're not. So that's why I'm apologizing. Okay? Okay. From one audio engineer to another, especially, I didn't want to that's the truth. I've been thinking about it, and I couldn't find your email because I don't know your real name. Is that ridiculous? And I should, because you're a member. That's why I wanted you to send me an email. So if I yell at you again in the future, I'll be able to apologize. Oh, shoot. Okay. I forgot, Lorenzo. That makes me feel even stupider because I know you are. Okay. All right. Um, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. All right, folks. I'll see everybody at 12:30. I'll see everybody at 12:30. All right, we'll be here for 10-year bonds, right? Okay. See you all later. Any questions before I go? Any questions? All right, folks. I'll see you all later. All right, Zosa, I'm glad you're not mad at me. Lorenzo, very glad to hear it. Good. Okay. See you all in a bit.